The longest-lived dog ever was an Australian cattle dog / blue heeler who lived to 29 years, 5 months. Today, I'm making a love memorial plaque on walnut with visible cremains with the rainbow colors of the pride flag for Sydney well, this breed has 4 names depending on where you live: Australian cattle dog, blue heeler, red heeler, and Queensland heeler. Sydney is a great name for a dog of Australian heritage. I must acknowledge that colonization of a, quote, new land typically involves the physical and cultural destruction of its native people and wildlife. Sadly, Australia followed this pattern too. But that history is beyond the scope of this video. I'm focused on the history of the dog. Whichever name you prefer, this dog has its roots in the earliest colonization of Australia. It is typically known that Australia began as a British penal colony and agricultural work camp in 1788. They struggled with the new climate, crops that wouldn't grow, and self-governance. Several years on, it was discovered that raising cattle seemed viable, so they turned to dogs for help with herding them. In England at the time, the Smithfield was a locally available herding dog. Its name comes from the Smithfield Market in London, which was the livestock trading hub at the time. Here is a photo. So Smithfields were brought over to help, and they were fine with cows, but bad with the climate. Enter the dingo. Archaeological and genetic evidence suggests that dingoes made the trip to Australia with a group of people about 5,500 years ago. Naturally, this number changes a bit depending on who you ask. Were these people who brought the dingo the original Aboriginal people of Australia? No, definitely not. There is strong archaeological evidence of their history going back at least 50,000 years. The people who brought the dingo didn't seem to have survived, but this, quote, dog did. And I put dogs in quotes here because culturally, behaviorally, and physically, dingoes are somewhere between wolves and dogs. They are neither fully wild nor domesticated. Either way, dingoes and Smithfields were bred to create the basis of the cattle dog that we see today. Like lots of dog breeding in the past, the records of this process are spotty at best. And of course, the people involved tried to select the best examples of this new hybrid to breed and further the new line, while the dogs and the dingoes had a different plan and did whatever they wanted behind the shed at night. So the exact proportions of the Smithfield versus the dingo cannot be known. It took a long time for standards to be established, and officially this new breed was accepted into the AKC only in 1980, so they are still fairly new. Today's heeler is a medium-sized, dual-coat, sturdy dog. They come in 5 colors, and all are accepted as part of the breed standard. They are excellent workers, highly intelligent, loyal, and importantly, eager to please their people. Like all dogs, though, there are a couple of things to look out for. They are prone to hip dysplasia, vision loss, and hearing loss. They are smart and high energy, so you will need a productive outlet for those elements of their personality, or they may invent their own entertainment, and you won't like it. Also, like any shepherd, there is some seasonal shedding. If you can deal with the issues, you will likely have a great companion for a very long time. They have an above-average lifespan of 12 to 16 years, with many examples living far longer, and some very, very long indeed. A cattle dog, Bluey, is the record holder for the longest-lived dog ever, 29 years, 5 months. Perhaps the semi-wildness of their dingo ancestry has given them some extra oomph in this regard. Being a relatively new breed of dog, they don't have much of a media history just yet. Occasionally, one appears in a TV show, advertisement, or movie, but there aren't any that have become stars just yet. Both Matthew McConaughey and Owen Wilson have cattle dogs and reportedly take them everywhere, which is just the way heelers like it. They are definitely come-with dogs. When I was a dog boarder, I saw heelers a variety of times. They were good dogs, but also ones who were looking for a way out. They would spend part of their playtime checking every inch of the fence, looking for any flaws they could exploit. They definitely want to be with their trusted family. That's the way they're the happiest. And what of the British Smithfield dog? Unless you find yourself on a cattle ranch in Australia or Tasmania, you aren't likely to ever see one in person. They are still not a codified breed today in the US, and with extremely low numbers, it is likely to stay that way. However, I did find a breeder in Sunbury, Victoria, Australia, so thank you to Lakey Farms for letting me use their excellent Smithfield photos. The dogs seem adorable. This dog here is an official breed, and she is asking for you to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more dog-based infotainment. A word about this memorial before it's revealed. Sharp-eyed viewers may notice that I switched to a different piece of wood part of the way through. My original idea was to use paint on the bottom carved portion of the memorial letters to have an unbroken rainbow of 6 colors appear through the cremains and clear resin. It may have eventually looked fine, but I am not a painter, and creating work that is merely okay isn't who I am. So I started over with a different blank and altered the carving to divide each letter up into 6 sections with a thin wall of wood just 5/100ths of an inch thick between sections. That way I could pour resin in each little pocket. It was time consuming, but I think worth it when I look at the result. And I learned a new carving technique in the process, so it's a win all around. Overall, I think the memorial looks terrific, and I hope Sydney and her family are pleased. I wish I could tell you otherwise, but it is not likely that your dog will live to be 29 years and 5 months old like Bluey did. When the time comes, if you'd like a stunning memorial in many glorious colors, I can make one for you. Thank you for watching.